Hello and welcome. In this lesson, I'm planning on creating a very basic HTML document in VS Code. I'll be using a feature built into VS Code called Emmet, which allows us to type shortcuts for tags, as well as the actual skeleton document itself. And once we've created this document, we'll then open it directly in Chrome without using a web browser and have a look at it. So to get started, I'll just create a folder called Initial UI, and I'll open that in VS Code. On a Mac, you can just drag this on top of VS Code in the dock and it'll open it. On Windows, things are just slightly different. I've actually got Windows running in an RDP window here, so let me show you. I'll create a folder called Initial UI. And then I'll open VS Code with a new window, and I'll just say File, Open Folder, and I'll go to the folder I just created and say Select Folder, and you can see we're now in exactly the same situation as we were on the Mac. So let me go back to the Mac and I'll continue there. From there on, everything will be the same. So I'll just put this away and bring up code. So the first thing we need to do is to create a file, and there's a little button for it here. Make this a little bit bigger. This button here, New File. Alternatively, you can just right click and a menu pops up. I'll use that. And I'll call the file index.html. That's actually the default name for an HTML file. So when a web browser isn't given a file name, it will look for a file called index.html by default. And as I mentioned, there's a feature built into VS Code called Emmet, which allows you to type shortcut codes. And one of them is for a basic HTML skeleton document. All you need to do is type a single exclamation mark, and you can see Emmet is popping up on the right, a proposed content. So to accept that, I just hit the Tab key. And now let's have a quick look at the document it's created. At the top, there's a doctype tag, which is just telling us that this is a modern HTML5 file. And then the next tag is an HTML tag with the English language. And this serves as a root for the remainder of the document. You can see there's an opening HTML here and a closing HTML here, and everything else is contained within it. And that's everything else is in two sections. There's a head section up here and a body section down there. Now, the head section contains information about the page. It doesn't actually contain any content that's written to the screen. So here we can see it's saying which character set to use and some information about the device scaling. And this title here is just something squirreled away by the browser. It just gives the HTML page essentially a name. But the content that we're going to write, that will all be contained within the body. And so I'll just put a couple of headings in a paragraph here. If I type H1, this is an Emmet abbreviation, and if I hit Tab, it'll write me a opening and closing H1 tags. So I'll just put good morning here, and then to insert a new line underneath, I can hit Command Enter or Control Enter on Windows, and then I type H2, and it's a similar situation here. This is an H2 tag shortcut in Emmet, so I can hit Tab and it generates them for me. I'll put time for coffee, and then I'm going to hit Command Enter to start a new line, and I'll have a paragraph this time. So I just type P and Emmet will generate me the paragraph tabs. Now, typing a lot of text in can be very boring, and we can save time because Emmet has a text generator called lorem ipsum. So if I type lorem and then the number of words I want, maybe 100, then it will generate me 100 words of lorem ipsum text. As you can see, it's just a whole bunch of Latin words. And if I now hit tab, it'll replace the lorem 100 with the text that it's showing below. It's all on one line, but if you remember in the introduction, we configured a setting so that when I save the file, it will format it first. So let me just do file save, and we can see there it's formatted it. So this will be more than adequate as a first HTML document that we can work with. And what I'd really like to do is view this in Chrome. So rather than using a web server at this point, I'm just going to open it directly in Chrome. So let me just open Chrome. And I can go to the File, Open File menu item up here and select the file we've just created, index.html. And there it is. As I'm sure you're aware, as I make the browser window wider and narrower, it will take care of the actual layout of the paragraph. So I'm going to bring this lesson to a close here, and in the next lesson we'll come back to Chrome and we'll look at this same page using the Chrome developer tools. So I'll see you there.